Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Fans YouTube channel. Finally talking about Money in the Bank. It is now Monday, and there's a reason I've put it off this long. I was that angry. I was that angry at WWE for some certain things. And I was busy. I watched it on Sunday, obviously, and I was busy in the evening, and I thought, you know what? I have a short window to make this video. I refuse. And I refused when I got back, even though I had barely any time. Put it this way, this is the only time that timing and my mood has matched up to make this video, because I am pissed. And not to exaggerate, because I think the show itself and the majority of the show was amazing. But let's get into it, right? Based off of predictions, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was up first, and my predicted winner was Naomi. I thought she made the most sense for the briefcase and would be a great character to carry the briefcase. That is exactly what happened. Naomi got the win, and I'm happy. And do you know what? I don't think if anyone won that briefcase, bar Rhea Ripley, I'd be fucking happy. I mean, Stephanie Vaquer is goated, Roxanne Perez is goated, Julia is goated, Alexa Bliss is goated, Naomi's goated, and so is Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley's the only one that doesn't need it. Do you know what I mean? And Naomi got the win, and I'm happy about that. So many people genuinely believed Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Vaquer would get the win. I could see Roxanne Perez. Maybe I could have seen, I could see it. But to me, it made total sense to have Naomi win. So that's what happened. Then we had the second match out, was the match that was made at AAA. Dom Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship in an impromptu match against Octagon Jr., who also fought earlier that night on AAA. Now, in my reaction to AAA, I predicted that Dom would retain, and that was the obvious case. Dom did retain. And he beat a luchador. He used Frog Splash while he was laying on his front. Maybe that's Dom's version of his Frog Splash. But also his 619 was impactful. Arguably more impactful than Rey Mysterio's. It hit a lot harder, I'll be honest. But that was a great match to add to the card, because it was actually a decent match. So I respect it. We don't get to see enough of Dom Mysterio in the ring. We get to see a lot of his character development and his mic skills, but not a lot in the ring. So I feel like that was great to see him in the ring, because I genuinely could only tell you about 5 moves that he does, and 95% of them, 4 of them are Rey Mysterio's moves. So yeah. Then we had Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I said my original thought, and this isn't me making excuses, my original thought was that Becky would take the title. But then I retracted that statement, and I said, actually, no, I have a better idea. I think Bayley comes out, and Bayley costs Becky Lynch. Now, I know if Becky Lynch lost this match, she'd never get a shot for the Intercontinental Championship against Lyra Valkyria again. But that's when I thought, there's 2 ways out of this. Bayley costs Becky, and then Bayley gets involved, and it's a triple threat match. So technically, Becky can be in the match, because she technically never really fairly lost to Lyra, but it would also mean it's not a one-on-one match, it's a triple threat match. And then that's when I thought Becky would take the title, and then would get Becky Bayley at SummerSlam. But there was no Bayley, which is fine, because as fans, we don't expect the surprises, because then it's not a surprise, it's an expectation. Yeah? But at the same time, don't give us expectations and then don't meet them. Dwayne Johnson. And Becky actually won the title, which I was surprised at. I genuinely flew back in my bed and was like, but I'm not mad at. And screw everybody that says Becky Hogan. It's not Becky Hogan, right? Difference is Becky is a captivating character. People are behind Becky. People want Becky to win. She doesn't win every match. She doesn't beat everybody. Lyra Valkyria is the first ever women's Intercontinental champion. She's held that title for 6 months. She can drop the belt to Becky Lynch. In fact, she's successfully defended it against Becky Lynch and Bayley, another higher-ups in the women's division. Her losing the belt to Becky Lynch does good for Lyra. It does not do bad for Lyra. Hulk Hogan was squashing people and winning everything over and over again ridiculously, like Charlotte Flair way. He was even amplified to Charlotte Flair. So calling Becky Lynch Becky Hogan is just disrespectful. Becky Lynch. Let's not all act like we aren't behind Becky Lynch, which is the reason she got pushed. Becky was never pushed. She was the least successful of the 4 horsewomen until the people got behind Becky, and Becky elevated to the moon. Don't turn your back now and say you're Becky Hogan. Come on, man. Don't miss me with that bullshit. Becky is a perfect Intercontinental Champion. And for Lyra to already beat Becky, it is not an insult for Becky to take the belt off of Lyra. Not at all. So I don't mind this at all. I still think we're getting Becky Bayley at SummerSlam because there is still Night of Champions and there is still Saturday night's main event where we'll probably get a Becky Lyra trilogy, the third match, the rematch, and obviously Lyra would not be successful in that. Then, here's where it pisses me off. We move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. First thing that pisses me off is that it's not the main event. I get John Cena's there. I love John Cena. He's my GOAT. He's the one who got me into wrestling. He's my #1 all-time favourite. And I will cry on the day he retires. I get the match is big. We have both world champions in the match. And we have Cody Rhodes and we have Logan Paul. But this is Money in the Bank pay-per-view. The Money in the Bank matches hold prestige. These things happen once a year. Like the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. People want to see this shit. People want to see Money in the Bank. The fact it is not in the main event, opening the show is good because there's two. The fact that it's not in the main event, it kind of annoys me a bit. It's not the most important factor, but it kind of annoys me. Now, in my predictions, I said the winners that made no sense and are highly unlikely are Andrade and Penta. I maybe said El Grande Americano, but I took that back on a day. The crowd reaction El Grande Americano got, and the pure thought of me might get a shock factor here of El Grande winning and unmasking himself as Chad Gable, or everyone being stunned that, oh my god, WWE have actually made him win. I thought that might happen. And I said Solo might be close, but there might be some bloodline interferences. And I said the real winner I want is LA Knight. Third year in a row. They've teased it all the time. They teased it in London. They teased it in Toronto. And now it's in LA. Right? In London, everyone wanted LA Knight to win. He didn't win. We got Damian Priest. In Toronto, it was between LA Knight and Jey Uso. Neither of them won. We got Drew McIntyre. In LA, LA Knight once again, for the third year in a row, you'd think they'd give it to LA Knight. And you'd think they'd give it to the person everyone was rooting for the third year in a row. No, they didn't. They fucked it up and they gave it to someone who didn't need it. Don't get me wrong. Damian Priest, he could have used it, right? But you tell me when Brock Lesnar, an already established top star, multi-time world champion, achieved everything. He'd won Rumbles, won world titles, beat the biggest names. You tell me why, when he came in last minute as a surprise and won the Money in the Bank briefcase, you tell me why, when he had a bad reception because of that win, because no one thought it was worth it, and then when Drew McIntyre won last year, cashed in on the same night and lost it, you're telling me, you're looking at the reception that Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre got, and you're thinking, oh yeah, let's have Seth Rollins win again. Let's have a big player win again so that they can just waste the Money in the Bank briefcase. Don't get me wrong, the Money in the Bank briefcase will be used with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins will use it to cash in and likely win a world title, or if not, set up the feud even bigger with Jey Uso, CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Make it even bigger when someone makes him feel he's cashing. But it's pointless. Why? Because A, we don't want a big player with the Money in the Bank briefcase. The Money in the Bank briefcase is supposed to bring excitement and surprise and elevate a new star. Look at Dolph Ziggler. When Dolph Ziggler cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase, no one could believe he would ever be world champion. When he came out and cashed in, everyone was surprised. Everyone didn't see it coming. Well, they saw it coming, but it was a surprising and shocking thing to see. And then Dolph Ziggler wins his first world title. Yeah? That makes sense? Seth Rollins, when he first won it, heist of the century. The first member of the Shield to become a world champion, and he done it in the main event of WrestleMania. Amazing cash-in. The Money in the Bank elevates people. Even Damian Priest made him a world champion, right? Seth Rollins does not need that briefcase. Seth Rollins is already a 6-time world champion. Seth Rollins can beat Jey Uso and has done before. Seth Rollins can beat John Cena and has done before. Seth Rollins does not need the briefcase. Tell you who does need the briefcase, LA Knight. LA Knight is now out of the mid-card picture. He should be in the main event picture, but yet he's not established himself as a big star because he's not necessarily beat big names. The biggest name he's beat is AJ Styles. Maybe Drew McIntyre. He hasn't beat Seth Rollins. He hasn't beat Roman Reigns. He hasn't beat John Cena. These are the types of people he needs to be beaten to be the world champion. And while he might be moving out that mid-card title and going to the main card picture, he needs something to stick his foot in the door. That's the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's where it comes into play. And what's so good about it is LA Knight is trademarked. He has his yeah movement, right? Everyone has wanted him to be Money in the Bank for 3 years, and WWE decides, no, let's not listen to that. Let's pick the predictable thing that people know we're going to do, that people don't want what to do, and we're going to do it anyway. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's ruining the Money in the Bank briefcase. What doesn't make sense to me? What never makes sense to me is the women's Money in the Bank match. They always get on point. The matches are brilliant, and the winners are perfect. There's never been a bad women's Money in the Bank winner. Never. Carmella was the first winner. You're telling me her run as Miss Money in the Bank was bad? No, it wasn't. You're lying. Alexa Bliss, good winner. Cashing on the same night, bit disappointing, but good winner. Bayley, good winner. Cashing on the same night, bit disappointing, but that one was exciting. The Alexa Bliss one we didn't like because we wanted to see Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey, but the Bayley one, that was good. 2020, Asuka, good winner. And the way she didn't even have to cash in, the belt just got awarded to her, which was, different situation. 2021, Nikki ASH, no one saw it coming, made a great moment when she cashed in. 2022, Liv Morgan made a great moment when she cashed in. 2023, Io Sky. I mean, who doesn't want Io Sky to win? 2024, Tiffany Stratton. Never a bad match, never a bad winner. Then how's the men's matches happening like this? Why are the men's matches getting higher up on the card with more uneven matches? The women's match was full of 6 very good superstars. The men's match had 3 or 4 good superstars and then 2 bit out there superstars. And that was higher up on the card. And yet, there was interferences. Jacob Fatu finally turned on Solo Squad and said, I hate you. After I had a standoff between Seth's faction and the Bloodline because Seth's faction were trying to ruin the match. Oh, wait, they still did. I thought by the Bloodline coming out, it was a bit of a safety thing going, oh yeah, Seth's team aren't going to win. They're not going to win. Because the Bloodline are out here and are going to get rid of them. Even if the Bloodline go down, they're still CM Punk and Sami Zayn. No, they were nowhere to be found with it. No, when Seth's about to win the contract that he's going to use to ruin Sami, Punk, and Jay's life, no one comes and stops him. Everyone lets him win. WWE even had the audacity to fake us out when Seth was climbing that ladder for the last time to have LA Knight pull him off the ladder and look like he's about to throw him out the ring or do something, and then LA Knight's going to go win it. No, Seth hits him with a stomp, and then he just wins it clean. Everyone saw it happening. Everyone's booing as Seth's going to grab the briefcase, and he's slowly pulling it off, making you think something's going to happen. No, still wins it. Pisses me off. We don't need Seth winning the title. I love Seth. I'm a bit iffy about his new faction, but I know he can cook and I know WWE can, and it's bullshit to see him winning. It's bullshit because it's just so unnecessary. Every year it fails. I'm rambling on saying the same shit, but it's so obvious, and they've picked such an obviously bad winner. It's so bullshit. I just kind of put it into words like. And do you know what it is? It's probably not even Triple H's fault. It's probably fucking TKO's fault. TKO know now about wrestling. They know how to make money. And that just everything's brand sponsored and let's have this big star do this big thing. Like, how stupid. They had Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble over John Cena because he's got yeet. They had WrestleMania end that way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was happy Jey Uso won the Rumble. I was hyped for Jey Uso. It just made no sense with the names in there personally. I think Jey Uso winning the Elimination Chamber would look better. Made him look stronger, but whatever. And now again, like Drew McIntyre, people hated it last year. People said, we don't want one of these powerful people who are already established wrestlers winning Money in the Bank. It defeats the point. They don't need it. Imagine you've been multi-time, 6-time world champion. You've won Rumbles. You've won Chambers. You've won main events of WrestleMania. Seth Rollins just come off the back of winning a main event WrestleMania against Roman Reigns and CM Punk. CM Punk, one of the most iconic names in wrestling, and Roman Reigns, one of the most dominant names in WWE in the most recent years. Seth Rollins beat the pair of them at WrestleMania, made the biggest shock when Paul Heyman sided with him. Yet 2 months later, he's there winning Money in the Bank briefcase off of a bunch of underdogs. Fuck you, man. It pisses me off. So do you know what? I don't even want to talk about his reign because let me guess, he's going to cash in on Jey Uso and he's either going to win the title, start his dominant reign, and start dominating WWE, or he's going to try and cash in, CM Punk, Sami Zayn are going to ruin it, and it's going to elevate the feud, and then we've got no Money in the Bank again for the year. So I guess it's another year of watching the women's Money in the Bank briefcase get elevated, and looking at that as our only Money in the Bank briefcase. I swear to God, ever since this green briefcase come along, they've had no good winners. They had 2 good winners who won the green briefcase. That was Big E and Damian Priest, and even Damian Priest changed the colour and designed that briefcase because he said, no, fuck that. And it's true. So many times have ruined this, and it's starting to piss me off because Money in the Bank ladder match used to be one of the best things in WWE, and now honestly it's one of the most just disappointing and anticlimactic thing. The matches are repetitive. Like, I'll be honest, like, there's only so many spots you can do in a Money in the Bank ladder match, and I feel like they have Andrade in it every year doing the same spots. Same code reds as they call them now, because apparently there's no such thing as a sunset flip. I mean, I suppose they're they are different, I suppose. But it never used to be called code red, but whatever. Doing all that on ladders, you know. And then we get a disappointing winner every year. It pisses me off. Really does. But let's get to the main event. This was not disappointing. Why? Because every man got his time to shine. Logan Paul and John Cena hit their moves, dominating Jey Uso, which is good because, you know, they want Jey to look like this underdog who comes back and beats people and defies the odds. We had a bit of Cena and Logan Paul argument. Cody Rhodes doing great. Everyone did great in the match. And what ended the whole match was when R-Truth came back. Yes, R-Truth's back after 7 days. Although Triple H claimed just enjoyed the show, he genuinely was sacked, and it was a planned sacking. But because of everyone screaming, we want Truth on Raw, NXT and SmackDown, we got the job done, and R-Truth is back, and he's already involved with feuding John Cena. He genuinely jumped John Cena and started beating the shit out of him. Not Superfan anymore. Character evolution, elevating R-Truth to the top. And you know what? I can see it. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso got the win. Jey Uso's got to be done with Logan Paul. His focus is on Gunther tomorrow night, but Cody Rhodes is definitely 100% and has to be facing John Cena for that Undisputed WWE title at SummerSlam. It could be at Night of Champions or Saturday Night's main event, but I feel like John Cena might have other things in the pipeline for that, namely probably Logan Paul. I feel like they want to reserve Cody for SummerSlam, because I swear to God, if they do Cody at Night of Champions and then Paul at SummerSlam, I'm going to kick someone in the face so hard. So that's my prediction, and I think maybe at SummerSlam Cena drops the title, but we'll discuss that closer to the time. If we just take out the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, that show was honestly an 8 or 9 out of 10. It was pretty solid matches. Great winners. Like, I predicted a Lyra retention, but I was hoping for a Becky win, honestly. I feel like that was the great decision. I know I got it wrong, but I'm fine with it. Every other one I got right. Well, I didn't get the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, so let's add that back in. Adding the men's Money in the Bank ladder match in, it makes it just a 6 or 7 out of pure frustration. Because what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? We could literally call out the next 3 months with Seth holding that briefcase. I'm not even joking to you. But thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with my Raw reactions. Goodbye.